rest of it. The board will also be sharing their presentations. Okay. We are recording and live streaming. I am John Kruger, the president of the Board of Trustees of the Estes Valley Library District. And this is our March 21st board meeting, and it is 6:31 p.m. Calling the meeting to order. We have no public comments. Is that correct?
Correct.
None. Thank you. In that case, we will move to our consent agenda. Our consent agenda includes the Board of Trustees meeting minutes from February 21st, 2022, the income and expense year-to-date report from February 2022, and the study session information regarding the sunshine law and our bylaws regarding officer terms from March 3rd, 2022. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
I move.
I so move, John.
Okay, Pete moves and David seconds. Thank you, gentlemen.
Good enough.
Anyone have anything edit or remove from the consent agenda? I see no one seeking to do that, and so I'll ask the board to unmute and vote by verbal ayes in favor of the consent agenda.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hear none, and it looks like Beth has joined us. Good evening. We have full trustee board members present this evening. In addition, we have the staff from the program and outreach team who
John, that was
Excuse
my
me.
error. I missed my
no,
P.
the patron service.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right. I missed that too. Patron services tonight are going to present themselves to the board, and then following that, the board will be presenting ourselves for recorded purposes particularly, but tonight, kind of an introduction of everyone. And so, Claudine, you want to take the lead?
Yes, thanks. As Lynn said, it's so nice to see all of these faces on our screen tonight. Thank you all for playing this social game with us. We've done it a few years ago as a reminder. And to the many new faces on the patron services team, in January, the board was introduced in this way to the admin staff. And then in February, they met technical services, and you are lucky number 3. After you is the program team, and then as a special end to the series, the Friends and Foundation are invited also, our fundraising board, to join us. And before Zoom, we used to do these in person, and it just made a lot of sense, and we could sort of sit around a table and look each other in the eyeball and get to know each other. But this way, as a reminder, is the best we can do right now. And I just want to invite everybody to know this about what I've learned about the board this year. We're very interested in getting to know a little bit about you. Sure, you can mention what you do at the library, but mostly they want to know about your icons on the right-hand side. So after you go, the board will go, and everybody just takes a minute, and it's a lot faster than you might imagine. So take your time and speak slowly and give us the highlights of you. So that's my setting. And I'm very pleased to turn this over to our very new supervisor. Linda, how long have you been in this position?
So officially it was October 11th, but I consider it like the 7th of January when I wasn't here.
Very good. Well, I turn it over to Linda, the supervisor of patron services. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
And so share the screen. Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Next slide, please. So this is my team. It consists of me and Gretel, Damaris, Kelly, Kay, Marcus, Diane, and Molly. I am the supervisor, which is really weird to say. I've been with the library for 4 years, so it seems like a lot in just 4 years. My passion is reading. It's always been reading, and I still love to read. I find I'm more interested in nonfiction than fiction these days. Another huge passion is volunteering. I volunteer with restorative justice through the Boulder DA's office, so that I will go to cases in Boulder and in Longmont as well. And then I do a great deal of volunteering with the Estes Valley Restorative Justice Partnership. And I'm also a crisis advocate volunteer. I also love gardening. I am an outdoor person. I might not be a hiker or a mountain climber, but I sure do like to be outside when it's warm. I'm not big on being out in the snow. I do have several flower beds and a lovely greenhouse to grow my vegetables in. I also enjoy baking, though I don't do it very much anymore. And music is big for me. I love music. So that's Linda.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's so lovely to see everyone. So let's see, I will say that I joined the team 10.5 years ago, and it's been lovely to be part of this team for over a decade. It's a privilege, really. And a little bit about me, some of the things that I enjoy and that I'm really passionate about are astrology. Been studying astrology for a very long time. I'm deeply interested in the cosmos and studying the studying astronomical data, but from a slightly different perspective, from a more spiritual perspective. I'm also very interested in reading. I love to read. I'm a voracious reader. I love to exercise. I do that 5 to 6 times a week. And I love to cook. I also cook several times a week. And I think that's pretty much it for me.
John, am I allowed to editorialize? Gretel just got married. Small
Yes,
tidbit.
You forgot.
Congratulations.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Damaris Perez, and I've been working here at the library for about 8 months now. I love my job, by the way. And so a little bit about me is I'm very passionate about animals. I like to try to donate to rescue animal organizations when I can. And if I can't, I like to at least spread awareness or spread the word, because I know there's a lot more people in the world who also feel the same way. And also, what I like to do as hobbies, I like to go out with my friends and family to play sports such as volleyball or basketball at the YMCA. If not, we like to go roller skating or ice skating as well. I also like to cook. I'm not the best at cooking, but I like to try because I like to eat. So I think that sums it up for you. It's very nice to meet you all.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I've been at the library for about 6 months. I love going outside. I love being outdoors. I do enjoy hiking, and I've gotten into cross-country skiing a little bit this winter. Just really any excuse to get outside. I'm really happy to do it. I really enjoy in my free time making things. keep it broad because I like to kind of dabble in different things. I like embroidery and painting and things like that. But I'm probably most well known for crocheting. You can usually find me crocheting. And I do really, really enjoy that. I've been doing a couple crocheting classes at the library this month even. And then when I'm not doing those things, I'm probably reading. I just really love books and trying to read lots of different kinds of things. And yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Okay, you need to unmute.
I got it. I got
Okay.
it. There. I was trying to unmute in the wrong place. But anyway, I'm Kay, and I've been at the library since November. Some of you may know my husband, who was at the library for a long time, Kieran Rouser, as the administrative assistant. And we got married in 2013. And I decided to trade with him. But I enjoy cooking, and I enjoy kayaking when I can find a good lake, or I recently kayaked a little bit in the bay in Hawaii, and that was a kick.
Hey, why were you in a bay in Hawaii?
I was in a bay in Hawaii because I was there for 3 weeks because of my son's wedding. He got married to a lady that he met in Hawaii, who happens to be, they live in Estes Park now, and she's the EPNRC executive director, Cato Craft Lawson now. So. So it was a lot of fun, and it was a beautiful wedding, and I'd love to go back someday again. And I like to read. I like music. I dabble around with trying to play a fiddle, and I'm not sure what that other icon means. I can't remember.
Looks like a game
Board games. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. Kieran accosts me every evening and says, "What game would you like to play?" And so we enjoy backgammon and cribbage and many other games. So, yes. That's me. I am also very passionate about early childhood literacy and parenting because I was a Montessori teacher for many years, until last August, actually. And so I'm hoping to dabble a little bit more in that in relation to the library as well.
Unfortunately, Marcus couldn't be here tonight. He is the newest patron services substitute. He's been here. Tomorrow marks 1 month. And it's been a pleasure having him. So Marcus really enjoys cooking, but he enjoys it especially for his family. He does come from a background of restaurants where he was a cook. He also loves the outdoors, anything to do with the outdoors, camping, hiking. He's also a reader, and he finds he has recently discovered bicycles and how much fun it is to repair them as well as to ride them. But his main passion and love is music. As a matter of fact, he couldn't be here tonight because he's performing at the bowling alley. So he is a singer, songwriter, and performer who plays, he tells me, every instrument except drums, but primarily it's guitar. So that's Marcus.
Cool.
Thanks.
And Diane. Diane couldn't be here either, and I'm sorry she couldn't. She really did want to. Diane has been with us for 30 years.
That's right. 30.
30, yeah. And she is our shelver. That's what she does. She gives us about 4 hours a week. She is passionate about her dog, Jack, and probably all other dogs. She's also a voracious reader. Her box is always full of books. And she's a hiker. That's Diane.
Great.
Hi, I'm Molly. Time at the library. I started in October. I'm still in high school, so most of my time is spent there. I'm a senior this year. I'm graduating, and in the fall, I'm going to go to CU Denver to study film production. Some of my hobbies are knitting. I really like knitting. I also like making films and watching films. That's why I'm majoring in it. But my probably greatest passion is theater. I've been in every theater production my high school's put on. And I'm really bummed we had to miss them last year because of COVID. But
So was the audience, Molly. We were bummed too.
Yep.
The audience, the
Yeah.
symbol, I think that is the theater one.
Thank you. Okay, I guess this is an opportunity if anybody has questions for Linda or any of the staff that presented. Yeah, okay.
It's not really a question, it's a comment. I just want to say you guys are the first face when people walk into the library. And it is always a pleasure to look over and to see somebody smiling. I've gotten to know some of you. We talk about books, we talk about other things, but you really are such a welcoming presence when people come. And I thank you for that. I think it really makes people feel comfortable and you are so approachable. So I just can't tell you how much I appreciate your efforts. Some of you know my husband, and thank you for putting up with him. Linda's shaking her head. Yeah, I know Gretel knows him too. He has a lot of fun with you guys. So thank you very much.
Okay, thanks for that. Anyone else? Any questions or other comments?
I don't have a question. I just said it's a very diverse group and very interesting. Thank you for sharing.
Okay. Likewise, I've gotten to know a few of you over the years, and hopefully the ones I haven't met in person, when I come into the library, I'll have a chance to meet and know that the board in whole, as well as our patrons, really appreciate your services and your work there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
Okay, I guess it's time for the board to have an opportunity. So Joanna, if you want to move to that presentation, and as I said, staff, you're more than welcome to stay and listen to us, tell a little something about ourselves, and it's going to be available on recording as well. Okay. So this is the current board of trustees for the library, and when our terms expire, the four officers, and Ann Dewey is our most recent trustee to join the board. So I'll let each describe themselves and talk to that. We operate with 3 standing committees. Government Affairs is typically the president and vice president. The Finance Committee is the treasurer, David and Kay Weston. And the Policy Committee is chaired by the secretary, and Ann Dewey is on that committee. Member of we interact very well with the Friends and Foundation, liaison with them as they do with us in our meetings. Okay, next, please. This is me and my wife, Marlene. I've been on the trustees for 6 years. My first 3 years as treasurer. I've served 3 years as president. This is my 4th year. Before that, I also served 6 years on the foundation board and actually helped to merge the Friends organization with the foundation. Why I volunteer, I very strongly believe in giving back to the community that I live in. When I was working, I did a lot of projects with United Way, my employers, and they supported that a great deal. When I first moved here, I actually volunteered at Crossroads for about 5 years before I got involved with the library. And I got involved with the Library Foundation going to one of the dinners that C.J. Box came as the speaker, and I'd read his books, and one of their board approached me and said, how about coming on our board? And that got me going with the library. Things that you may not know about me: I'm a life master in duplicate bridge. The American Contract Bridge League is the official organization for Canada, US, and Mexico. And I've run a club, a sanctioned club with them for the past 16 years since I came to Estes Park in 2005. My wife, Marlene, and I have a daughter who has 2 girls, 18 and 21. And I have a son who has a son. So our grandson will be turning 13 next month. I also enjoy hiking, snowshoeing, and I golf on our courses here when they finally open. And I just found out today that the 18-hole golf course, because of the new irrigation system, isn't going to open until sometime in May, hopefully the 1st of May. Usually they try to open in April sometime, depending on weather. That's me. We'll go to the next.
Hi, I'm Lynn Lawson, and I don't get cool icons like all the staff did. I'm really jealous. I'm just starting the 2nd year as a trustee, and I'm vice president of the board. Why I volunteer, I've been a library user all my life. I remember going to the library as a kid, and I took my kids to the library as they were growing up. And, it seems like it's time to repay some of that. And also, I think that reading and literacy are a key part of how we can strengthen our community and create opportunities for everybody. What you don't know about me, I moved here about 3 years ago with my husband from Omaha. We just love being here. In fact, Facebook popped up today a picture of us drinking champagne out of red Solo cups, celebrating moving here. We love looking out the window and just seeing what's there. We've turned into hikers. In fact, I am in a hiking group with Kay Weston. And we've just really been struck by what a friendly community this is. We've got 2 adult children, both of whom are married. We have a 3-year-old grandson. We love to travel. We've been fortunate to get to many fascinating places. The most recent trip was to Jordan and Egypt, which was amazing. And our next trip is going to include a celebration of our son's marriage that's going to take place in Oslo. They had one of those COVID weddings that involved a courthouse and no guests 2 years ago. So we'll finally get to celebrate with a group of people, including her Norwegian family. So we're excited about that. And that's me.
Gillian. Pete.
Hi, I'm Pete Johnson. I joined the board same time Lynn did, a little over a year ago. And why I joined the board is I was approached by John, but I was already at that time thinking about what I might want to do to kind of give back to the community. We've been here since 2011, and they were asking me some stuff about human resources, which is my career profession, and was going to help the library with that. And then they asked me to come on the board, so I'm happy to be here. Like I said, we've been here for about 10 years. I enjoy a lot of golf, play with John, and when we can, and love to travel. And had the fortune to I was fortunate to work in many countries, 15 to 20 last time I counted when I was with Exxon, and gave me a lot of gave my wife and I a lot of exposure to different cultures, diverse cultures. So we really enjoyed that. Our last 5 were in Equatorial Guinea, which is in West Africa, and that was probably our best assignment in my 27 or 8 years with Exxon. I don't know, that's I have as I said, I have I have a 4th grandchild on the way now. So that's since I even wrote this, we've found out that our oldest son is expecting their first. So that's me.
Thank you, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
David.
I needed to unmute there, John.
Yep.
Good evening. I'm David Hempel. I've been on the board now for 4 years. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I've been on the board now for 4 years, and the last 2 as treasurer. Not a lot to say. That last statement you see there is true, though the proposal and engagement actually came a few weeks later at the Space Needle in Seattle. I am a tax accountant, as that has happened a long time ago. In the interim, I'm a tax accountant. I have a license from the IRS as an enrolled agent. While taxes are my main focus, I've done lots of payroll and accounting services for my clients. And I'm just going to give you a quote that I actually just read the other day in The Guardian. According to a new study by the University of Essex, accountants have been pinpointed among the most boring people alive. So,
You are not.
And I am only going to finish with a photo that may say a little bit more about me and that my friends seem to think is one of the better photos of me. So, Joanna, it looks like you're getting ready to pop that up for me.
Can you not see it? Is it not on the screen?
No, it's not.
Oh, there's a glitch here, David. I'm sorry. I have it on my screen. But here, just one moment. Here we go. We'll try again.
Okay.
It kind of shows a hobby of mine and an interesting photo from a couple of years ago. So.
All right. I'm going to
go back.
Share again. Just one moment.
Thank you, Joanna.
You're welcome.
Okay, Ann Dewey.
Hi. I had been in service an entire week when I made this slide. It's been a little bit longer than that now, but I think it's probably about 3 months. I think it was around the 1st of January that my term started. I'm obviously in a different season of my life than most people who are on the board. Those are my very adorable children, Emma and Bryson. Emma's 7 and Bryson is 12 and a half. He prefers if I say almost 13, but that's really pretty technical. He's been 12 and a half for about 4 days now. But when you're 12, you're really excited to turn 13. I'm not as excited for him to be that age. I work at the school district and my job there centers around technology. I also work with the librarians. I was the librarian at the high school for 10 years. I really enjoyed my time there, but as things change, it turned into more of a job about iPads than about library. So even though my last name is Dewey and that works really well, the kids thought that was very, it took them a while to get it, that my last name is, Dewey. But eventually they did get it. And so I think it's really important that libraries and schools sort of mirror the experience that people have in the community. That being a member of a library is an important thing, and it makes such a difference in the lives of kids, as we know. And so having the students in our school district be members of our public library is an important thing to me. And that was something that we've done pretty recently. What else did I say here? Oh, that's my husband too. I talked about my kids. That's my husband. We've been married for 18 years and we've lived here in Estes Park since 2007. We moved here from Kansas. So I grew up in Kansas, as did he, and we both went to K-State, go Wildcats. And he's really happy that we have children in a school system that has a cat in the name, because he's a big Wildcat fan. So Bobcats, Wildcats, it's all in the cat family. Makes him happy. So that's about me.
Thank you, Anne. Beth.
Hi, all. I am Beth Ellis, and I've been at the library as a trustee since 2017. And I've been in Estes Park for a while, and I'm reading why I volunteer. I definitely love learning and reading, and find the library. And there's amazing assets here, but I think what I love most in the whole world is people. And so people means we got to get together, we got to know each other, and that happens at the library. It also happens at a Cubs game. And so this is my family in the picture here. You can see my mom in the middle, my partner Janet on the right, my dad in the back, my mom's homemade Cubs shirt out of a Colorado shirt. She had just moved to Colorado at that point, so that was pretty fantastic. And,
oh my gosh, Beth, I didn't know about the shirt. That's so cool.
She very much surprised me with that shirt. She really came through, because honestly, Janet and I are both very big Cubs fans, but my mom and dad don't really care anything about the Cubs other than we're from near Chicago. So that's a good thing. But she really came through with that Colorado Cubs shirt. And they won, in this picture, they won the World Series in 2016, and they hadn't won the World Series since 1908 or 9. So it had been over 100 years, and we were just really, really excited in that picture. Anyway, that's a little bit about me, but really just love when people come together, love when people get to know each other. And I think we're fantastic. We're fascinating as people. That's it.
And you work, and your job is?
Oh, sure. Yes. I am the director of students at Eagle Rock School. And I've been there not in this position, but I've been at the school for 18 years. So I've been in Estes Park for 18 years.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. Kayla Weston, you're last.
Thank you. Been in service since 2019. Have lived in Estes Park for just over 5 years. Why the library is just like Lynn. It's been a part of my life. I remember as a very small child being taken to the library and getting to check out books. And I think literacy is so critical and really is the starting point for our lives, our careers, and really want to help facilitate that. Something about me, I say, people think, oh, you moved 8 times and you've lived in some pretty cool cities. Nothing compared to what Pete has done. So I'm put to shame, Pete. But I love to hike if the body holds out. My husband and I have done over 1,000 miles a year, many times. I like to read and I like to cook. Oh, and Molly, if you're still there, just let you know, my very first job was being a page at the public library. So you have great things ahead for you.
Thank you, Kay.
And Kay, if I could just clarify, I did not live in 15 or more countries.
Oh,
I worked in 15 countries.
okay. I thought you lived, so.
Yeah, the only one that we actually lived in as a family was Equatorial Guinea. And that was my last 5 years. So
Okay. So you just traveled extensively.
yeah, suitcase, we called it. Yeah, where you go for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. Yeah, to work. Thank you, though.
Yeah. Fun. So we'll open it up for any questions. If anyone wants any clarity or ask any questions of any of the trustees, kind of wave your hand at me and we'll unmute you. Linda.
No question really, but a thank you for sharing yourselves with us. I know all of you, I've seen all of you, but it's really nice to know the backstory. And Beth, yes, go Cubs. That was an amazing game. Yes, we cheer for them every year. The Bears too. You know, there's always next year. So.
And I think Kay Lawson had her hand up. Okay, unmute. We're not hearing you, Kay. Maybe unplug the headphones. Maybe that'll work.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
No. Yes. Okay. Okay. It was just a little comment for Ann Dewey. She said that the high schoolers didn't understand how her name was in relation to the library. But whenever I hear her name, I think of Cajun sausage. So
Yeah, I get that too.
I bet you too.
Yeah. The kids in high school also don't get that. I mean, they eventually got the Dewey thing. Like, yeah. Then they asked me if I invented it. I did not. Just
Preceded you a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you would have made
Any-
something better. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Nor did anybody that I married into the family of. So
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
disappointing, but true.
yeah.
John, I'm going to
send. Oh, go ahead, David.
Oh, I was just going to say that I need to mention, as a person who grew up in Illinois, there were White Sox fans too. I grew up as the only game that we could ever get was a Sunday Cub game. So I watched the Cubs extensively, but I grew up as a White Sox fan. So I just needed to get that in.
Okay. All right.
All right, David, that changes a few things. So
okay, we're not going to get into sports here tonight. Okay, Cindy Seckman, you have something.
I just wanted to ask Kay if she'd let us know some of those really cool places that she got to live.
Sure.
Cool places.
Washington, D.C., Boston, Denver a couple of times, Atlanta.
I love Boston and
I do too.
Washington, D.C.
Go Red Sox.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. What? Claudia?
Pete has his hand up.
Oh, he does? I didn't see it. Where is he?
Oh, if I have my hand up, it's a mistake.
You didn't want to talk about sports, Pete? Just bring it on home.
Always, but I won't.
Okay. Very good. We probably should move on with our agenda. As I said, staff, you're more than welcome to stay on, but I fully understand that you may have other important things to do. So thank you again for sharing with us and being with us tonight. Okay. Strategic discussion. I will start with the Government Affairs Committee. I have two items actually that I wanted to bring up. The first is the meeting survey with regard to our meetings, how we conduct them and so forth, where Claudine shared that in her email out to us. And so you can see we didn't quite get all of you a little disappointed that, but there's still some hesitancy about in-person meeting. And so we will continue for now to plan to meet by Zoom for April and probably May. So we'll see how things continue to progress. I did look up the Larimer County information over the weekend and through last week. The continue to drop significantly as far as cases and positive tests and hospitalizations. So we can just hope that things continue in that way with regard to COVID. Secondly, I did listen to the study session that I missed March 3rd. And I very pleased with the discussion that you all had with regard to the topics. I thought it might be good for me to share just a little bit of background, since I'm probably the only one that's been around that long, how we've conducted not only that, but my predecessors, and particularly Don Bryson immediately before me, with regard to the selection of officers. That process has typically been one where the current president discusses with the different board members what positions they would feel most comfortable with in filling, and then present that slate of officers at the January board meeting. An option is always for nominations from any board member at that meeting at that time. But having the discussions ahead of time and fitting people, their background, skill, expertise, however you want to describe it, best fits, both Don and I at least felt that that was the most appropriate way to try to designate officers. So as you learned, I'll be term limited as far as being president next year. And so I'll be working with Lynn on the government affairs as we move forward to see where we go with officers next year. So I just wanted to share that little bit of background as far as how that's occurred with such a small board, not just leaving it up in the air for questionable nominations at that board meeting. Okay. Anyone have anything they want to ask or comment on with regard to that? Lynn?
You know, one of the things that we did mention at the last government affairs meeting, John, is we could consider having the nominating committee, either a separate nominating committee for officers or the nominating committee that's looking for new board members, you know, is a possibility for a process.
That's certainly always an option. And that's usually, again, kind of left up to the current president to move, or the government affairs committee, along with Claudine, to kind of decide what the most appropriate way to go forward is.
Sure.
Okay. The other thing on that topic was about committees. And again, I guess I see committees from my perspective working best if it is in the area where folks have a background or experience. There was some discussion about, well, could we have 3 people on the committee and so forth. The whole idea of having either the president, the secretary head up those 3 committees is then you can have someone else on that committee that's getting the experience. So I don't see where a 3-person committee and then requiring that to be public meeting should be necessary for our board of our size. So my input to that discussion. And we can move on unless somebody else has a comment. Okay, I think that's it from us. Finance, David, do you have anything that you wanted to share outside of the 13th month action that we'll take later?
Well, I do want to make a good point here. Cindy's report that you all received is complete as usual. And while we did have a wonderful finance committee last year for the reasons we mentioned earlier, we did the usual going over the finances and budget and verifying transfer of funds. But what I wanted to point out is I feel we've reached a reasonably successful conclusion of the project of moving from a outside accounting service to the in-house accounting process. I think it's successful because when you look at the 13th month report, there are only routine entries that will be made every year, just the routine end of the year entries for crossing the fiscal year. And those will need to be made every year, so it's become a routine. The idea that we could maybe have the audit presentation in April with no audit adjustments, I think that speaks for itself. And something that we were presented at the Finance Committee meeting is something I've been a pest about, but I know Cindy fully understands why. Now there is a accurate and useful balance sheet. And a balance sheet is the foundation of any accounting system. And I kind of consider that the final stamp on this project of the transition. Now we can move forward in a routine manner. And I just wanted to make a point, John, of commending all those involved. The committee, I mean, Kay doesn't have necessarily the accounting background, but always has pertinent input and questions. Claudine was Claudine. And Cindy was the consummate professional in guiding this process through to this successful point that I consider. So I just wanted to put that on the record that as a treasurer, I just am very pleased that we kind of met the timeline we expected that it would. It's a chore to completely meet all regulatory compliance as well as internal requirements of getting the system going. So I just wanted to say good job to all, and I'm happy with its conclusion.
Thank you, David. I appreciate that very much. Comments, as having been the treasurer for 3 years and trying to work with the town, which was good of them to work with us. Probably the best move since I've been on the board has been hiring Cindy and having our own financial support that way. So thanks for your comments.
I absolutely agree. And the final thing is I'll segue into, I know there was at least planned a meeting last Friday of the committee that was considering hiring the accounting clerk. And I will ask Cindy if there's any update that she would like to present at this time, or if that's still just in process.
Cindy or Claudine? Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi. Well, first, thanks for the very nice comments. That was very nice. And we have completed 3 interviews, and we have 2 very good possibilities. We're working on checking references and doing the final steps before we put an offer out. So we're close. We're really close.
That's great to hear. It's always great to have at least 2 good candidates that you can make a choice from. Okay. Any comments, Claudine?
Yeah, I can't help myself. I want to take credit for being the person that hired Cindy. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Even though we had to twist your arm to do it. Okay. Okay, very good. Appreciate that. And we will deal with the 13th month financial report a little bit later in our action items. Community Needs Assessment Task Force, Kay and Lynn, who's going to share?
I'll start out, but Lynn, Claudine, if you want to add anything at any time, please jump in. We had I think, a very productive session. Not only did we, talk about the proposals that have been requested, but we really talked about what we hope to accomplish. And I think the key thing is there's 4 groups definitely 3, possibly 4 groups we need to be included in this assessment. Estes Valley citizens who do not use the library. We have to figure out why. Estes Valley citizens who have not returned to the library since the pandemic, and then our patrons. The other possible group is what the term is mover and shakers, but key individuals in our community that might be able to give us some insights. So with that in mind, we then started looking at the firms to approach, and the one firm, JVA, I think Pete and Lynn and John, you heard the director at CalCon, but not just there. They've done many assessments for libraries across the state of Colorado. They declined our request to provide a proposal. We don't know why. So Claudine's going to follow up on that to see if it's a timing thing, is it our size, just what it is. LaRue and Associates was a firm that did provide us a proposal. When looking at that proposal, we felt that it wasn't as encompassing as we had hoped. And that included the audiences or these groups that I just mentioned, but it is also the methodology that is used. So we're holding off on responding to that at this time to see if there's other options that really meet our needs at this stage. And the other firms that Claudine has uncovered in talking to other directors, there's a list of them. And it's going to take some time to go through them to see if they have experience with libraries, to see what their methodology is. Elevated Insights, I think, was one out of Colorado Springs that showed some promise. But that's going to, again, take a lot of investigation. So our next steps that we've defined is Claudine's going to continue to reach out to other directors to see if there's any other firms that kind of rise to the top. We'll research outside firms that have been uncovered. We're going to finalize a possible list of these outside firms and then request proposals. And then we'll make a recommendation to the board. We anticipate it's going to cost a lot. And I don't think this is a surprise because we put a pretty big marker in our budget. But seeing and talking to other libraries Claudine has uncovered, it can be pretty costly. So we got to make sure we do it right. I think the last time a survey was done was 2014. Does that sound right, Claudine? Something like that.
I can look. Yes, it might be 13, but yes.
Okay.
2016, we did just a general.
Okay, but it's been a long time.
But it was longer than that than we did a true needs
Okay.
assessment. Yeah.
So it's been a long time. We want to dig deeper this time in the audience that we approach and hopefully the answers we can secure. So therefore, we believe that it's really important to investigate all our options. And if it means waiting till we can get the best firm that we believe is available, we're going to recommend that we do that.
Can I add something, Kay?
Sure.
One of the things that we talked about related to timing is if we go to individuals now, be they patrons or people who haven't come back, they may not have enough time elapsed as we're coming out of the pandemic to really be able to give us as valid answers as they might in a few months when, they have a better picture of what's life like. And if we ask probing questions on why haven't you returned to the library, we may get better answers to that if we wait a little bit.
Okay.
Sorry, Kay.
No, it's a good point. It's kind of reflective in just this group where do we meet face to face? Do we not meet? We're not there yet. So I think you made a very valid point of what we discussed.
Okay. Anything else?
Questions? Comments?
Other board members' questions?
Pete?
This may be really out of the, out there. This is a resort community, a retirement destination for many. Have we thought about, instead of contracting with a firm that has all the overhead and all those costs built back in, maybe there's somebody here in town who has experience in assessments that might be willing to do it for a lot less and still be just as effective. So I don't know if there's by word of mouth or if we could advertise, but this would seem to be, if you had somebody who had skills in this area and then we had the time to brief them on exactly what we wanted, you might get more focus by having a local who has that kind of background, who has done that in their past. Just a thought.
Thank you. Others? Okay, so I guess I have a question. Part of the purpose of trying to do a community needs assessment was we are at a point of redeveloping our overall strategic goals and direction. And the plan was to do that later this year with some outside consulting support help, probably from the Colorado State Library people, at least potentially. So first to the committee in general, do you see then that if we postpone this till later this year, making a choice and decision that we won't work on a strategic plan for 2023 and beyond? And then to Claudine specifically for staff and all, how do you feel about not having the board work on that this year and doing another interim for 2023? So the committee first, whoever,
Okay.
Lynn or Kay.
I'll give you my opinion.
Yes.
I'd like to think that we will be working on it in 2022 and that maybe our 5-year plan isn't completed, but it will definitely be worked on. But it's just going to be so dependent upon who's available and their timing. And to select someone who may not meet our needs the best, I think would be spending a lot of money and maybe not getting the complete results that we hope. And I think it's worth waiting.
Okay, thank you. Claudine? Oh, go ahead, David. You have some?
John, I just throw another wild card in the mix here. I agree it may be pertinent to wait until some more of life has settled down for this one. But I want to throw out the possibility that how soon may it need to be repeated now that we've seen the town's facility master plan? If they decide to move forward on things sooner than later, will another one be needed sooner than later if the library has to make huge decisions about where they're going to be?
Well, we're not going to know that this year or next year. Right now, that they have pretty clearly said they're going to move forward with regard to the police department, but not town hall. And that means no immediate impact on our building.
But it's a long-term decision, and I think it needs to be at least on the radar if they move in a 5-year format rather than a 10-year format. It's just something I want to keep on the radar. I agree with you say it's not going to be an immediate impact, but it needs to be kept in the back of the mind because
Sure.
things can change with them too.
Yeah, that, no doubt. All right. Lynn, did you have something?
I was just going to say, I mean, we may have the possibility to start to probe a little bit on that as we ask questions, you know, where just to start talking about location. We won't have specifics that we could ask about, but we can start to ask some questions about what's important that helps us think about how to respond to the town.
Okay. Claudine, any comments?
Yes. Your two questions, John, was the delay potentially of the strategic plan. And I would agree with Kay. The committee, the task force rather, did have a lengthy discussion of kind of the soup to nuts process from community needs assessment to strategic planning delivery process. So like Lynn and Kay, I am optimistic we'll at least begin this year. Your second question was, what is it for me as the director to have the staff operate potentially under another interim plan? Can you hear that recording? Sorry. Let me hold on just a moment while the recording finishes.
You're fine.
As you saw in the introduction to the patron services team, a good portion of the staff is brand new. And I'm pretty comfortable personally having these folks learn their jobs and onboard effectively. And if we're lucky, retain them, which seems to be my new main focus. So John, I am comfortable with what I consider probably a 6-month delay. That's don't hang your hat on it, but that's where I left off with Lynn and Kay. But I'd like to answer the larger, I think, question maybe a little differently than Kay and Lynn did, which was I looked at where we are now, our desire to have this starting in the spring, that I made an assumption, and I do apologize to all of you, that the assumption was JVA likes working with libraries. We have the money to pay them. We're ready to start. And I was not prepared for their disinterest in our project. And the question before us then as a task force was, do we go forward with a quality provider who does not provide the methodology that this task force was interested in so that we could start now? Or do we wait until we can find a provider that provides what the task force is looking for? So I would say our recommendation is the latter. And again, I'm sorry to disappoint you and the board for the timeline on this, but I think that sums it up.
Thank you. Appreciate the feedback at this stage, and it's just kind of an interim then. And we will wait for the task force, Claudine and staff, to come back to us with a firm recommendation. Anyone have any other comments or questions about that? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, task force.
Library director's report.
Thanks, John. Let me open that up. I want to capture that I had really 3 main points. Speaking, it's a nice segue, John, to the town's facility master plan. You've already summarized it for us, which is they've done a lot of work at the town and they've employed many professional consultants, and due to a variety of factors have zeroed in on what they are going to do is move the police department as their first priority, and the rest is up for discussion. I just want to bring back that Cindy was so kind to run a bit of a report for us on the library's cost per square foot. It was just nice to see that we weren't really outside of, I mean, out of the ballpark, I guess, with the metaphor of the night, that we're in the right place. But I wanted to, my main point bring up the facility master plan was it is a short-term relief, right? It would have been exciting to consider what the opportunity will be if and when we have to move. At the same time, in such a disruptive era, I think it's quite nice to continue to reinvest in the facility we have in the short term. But importantly, in the report, work even more intentionally with the Friends and Foundation for this short-term excellent use of our facility and plan for whatever the future holds. So that's the emphasis I'd like to make there, John. And we have Cindy here. Hopefully you've all had a chance to see the report. Was there any discussion on that before I move on?
Anyone? I appreciate very much you going to the effort of doing that analysis of 2018 to 21. And I would agree with Claudine's comments. We're moving in the right direction and making every effort. There was efforts a couple of years ago about changing out light fixtures and things like that, which have contributed. So we've been very conscious of trying to control those costs. Staff have, as well as the board. Anyone else? Okay, next.
I think the funding workforce housing, those were two very lengthy bits for you to consider. Again, I included them as references, not necessarily preparatory to tonight's meeting, but wanted to bring these to your attention. I can speak to them a bit, but since staff retention is high on our priority list, and as a member of the EDC, where I came by, I really want to thank Adam Shake and the EDC board. I was not, good or bad, I was not aware of the short-term rental fee until it was brought to my attention at the EDC meeting. Although I was aware of the local lodging tax revenue at the state, the House bill. So there's just been a lot of talk for a long time, and there's suddenly a lot of potential action. So I don't know if there's any discussion or direction on that, but mostly it was a report to bring this to your attention.
Appreciate it. I guess I went through it in some detail, the short-term rental item. I was very disappointed that the town chose to only include analysis within the town limits instead of in the Estes Valley. That's doing half the job, in my opinion, but that's what they chose to have done.
But John, you might agree that after the changes some years ago of, what is it, the Planning Commission was disbanded as we know it, so their authority only, it used to extend to the valley, but it now only extends to the town itself.
I understand the authority part, but the analysis still could have been done for the entire valley as far as availability and that, sort of thing on short-term rentals.
Understood.
Contributing, if you will, to finances and all in here.
Roger that.
Anyway, that was their choice. So I guess the other thing I would bring, and not to answer tonight necessarily, but if the board would like to have a more in-depth study session with regard to the retention of staff issue, especially around the housing and or transportation from the valley to Estes Park. One of the things I'm disappointed that the town hasn't even seemed to consider, and that is public transportation between Loveland and Estes Park or some such, for the benefit of workers here. So that's another area that we could potentially discuss as far as from a budgetary standpoint of either supporting or assisting staff in some of those ways, if that became, we saw that became a necessity. So I'm just throwing that out for future consideration. If you feel that is a study session topic, please relay it to me or to Claudine. Okay. Your next item, Claudine.
It was really just an acknowledgement of, we were looking at the OWL technology, which has the tracking camera and microphone for board meetings. So thank you, Joanna Stensland, who is working with our new adult program person to try it out. But really the guinea pig, my bosses, will be you. So we'll work it out with the board meetings and then look forward to seeing if we can offer quality hybrid programs in the near future. And that's all, John. Thank you. Any questions I can answer for the board?
Anyone? I don't see anybody. Okay.
Thank you.
Annie, your Friends and Foundation report, and welcome to
Okay.
you tonight.
Thanks. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You have it in the board packet, but I'll just read it out loud to you. The Friends and Foundation board members were working diligently trying to seek sponsorships for the Evening with Craig Johnson, which is going to be this summer, June 17th at the Stanley Pavilion. We've just recently secured a $10,000 sponsorship, which we were pretty excited about. Board members are just going out and reaching out to the community and their friends, and we're trying to fill the house, so to speak.
I again would encourage our board to give consideration to what the Friends and Foundation board are doing, and that's inviting folks to join you in that event.
Yeah, thanks, John, for that. That's what we would love.
And
yeah,
Annie,
yes,
before
Kate.
we go on, you said it's June 17th. When is it going to start being advertised? And
it already has been. We've been sending out to people who are library or foundation members. And then, but once we get all of our sponsorships, which we're trying to probably get, hopefully by the end of this month, maybe into April, then we'll start, because a lot of the sponsorships are where the posters have to have those sponsors on them.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we're just kind of trying to line it up that way.
And what is the cost of tickets?
$100 per person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. And if you become a library lover, which is, one of our membership things, you get a ticket. So all you have to do is buy another ticket. So, okay. Thanks, Kay, for the question. I hope it answered your question.
Very much. Thank you.
And so the 5-year smooth return for our endowment this year was 7.78%. Pretty pleased with that. And our recent spending policy that we put into place last year allows us to give $132,000 to the library in 2022 from our quasi endowment if necessary. But that's just in reserve there in case. Okay. Otherwise, we're going to try to earn the $200,000 without that. So, Uli, we've just finished the audit. There was just a minor change she did yesterday. So she's completed the 2021 and then 1990. And she's been an absolute joy to work with. She's amazing. And it's such a relief to have somebody just be present and understand. And it was great to have her. So thank you guys for finding her and allowing us to also partake in her services. It's been great.
Great to have them done together. That's great to hear.
And that's it.
You bet, Annie. I hired Cindy, who found Uli.
Okay.
Claudine is into taking credit tonight.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she wants like flowers or chocolate.
She wants
something.
She wants chocolate.
She wants a crown, a tiara.
Okay, a chocolate crown.
There you are.
There you go.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions or comments for Annie? Okay, so we have one action item. It is required that we officially approve and accept the 13th month of 2021 financial report. I'd ask for a motion for that approval. David, can I call on you?
Absolutely. I move that the 13-month report as presented on the board be accepted.
Thank you. Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, seconds. Thank you. Any discussion on it? Cindy did include a spreadsheet on the adjustments from the December initial. I appreciate that very much. They are pretty minor. Who was someone trying to speak? Cindy, do you want to share anything?
I'm sorry, I was unmuted when the loudspeaker came over that the library will be closing in 15 minutes. So
That's all right. Did you have anything you want to share on this?
I would, if anybody would like to go over the changes, I know I just got it out on the up on your board share this afternoon, so I'm not sure if everybody has seen that. And that was the request of the Finance Committee that I just address the changes, which in aggregate are quite small. So if you would like me to do that, I'm happy to.
Unless someone desires it, I went through it. I agree, it's very minor, and David already spoke to it a little bit.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, while the numbers are minor, they also are inconsequential, and that's the key to it.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
Okay. All right. If there's no other questions on that, I'll call for the vote. If everyone would unmute, and please vote verbally. Aye if you approve.
Aye.
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 And no if anyone objects. It approves unanimously. Thank you very much. I think that's all of our business for tonight. We took a little bit longer because of the 2 sets of presentations, but I thought they were excellent and really beneficial for us. It's good to get to know the staff a little bit better and for the staff to get to know us a little bit better. I hope Claudine will encourage staff to listen to the recording or watch it at their leisure. Okay, upcoming meetings will be by Zoom. As I said, study session is Thursday, April the 7th at 6:30. And it is our annual collections report from Kathleen. And Claudine may be out, but may be able to Zoom in, but she'll be out of town at that time. And I told her that was just fine. We can handle, or Kathleen can handle us, I should say. Just all right. She's
Kathleen is prepared, of course.
Of course. And then our next regular meeting is April the 18th at 6:30. It will be via Zoom. Friends and Foundation are having a cliffhanger meeting on April the 7th at 4 p.m., Annie. And I presume anyone on the board is welcome to attend if possible. I will not be able to be there. I apologize. I'll be arriving back in town myself that afternoon. Okay. And with that, if there is no other new business anyone has, seeing none, I will call the meeting adjourned.